Thank you so much for joining us for an hour to give. I'm so happy to have you here with us talking all about the Almonte General Hospital and, of course, the Fairview Manor Foundation. I'm so excited to welcome to the show Leanne Learmonth. How are you?
I'm great, Sam.
You have a very important job. Tell me what you do.
I'm the Vice President of Patient Resident Services and the Chief Nursing Executive at the Almonte Hospital.
I can't believe you could even join me today because you must be so busy in your work. For those that aren't familiar with the Almonte General Hospital, give us a sense of this hospital because it's a very special, I think it's almost the hub of the community. Would you agree?
I would agree wholeheartedly. The hospital has been in place since early 1900s. The old building is still across the street, so we see it every day, and it's a vital part of our community. We have the hospital as well as the long-term care home. We have family health team offices. The lab for the community is there, and it's centrally located for everybody to access. For sure.
And for those that haven't visited Almonte, so I go to Almonte for all sorts of reasons, mostly for some lunch and some walking around, but knowing that the Almonte Hospital is there is actually a comfort to me, although I don't live in Almonte. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, absolutely. Our catchment area is growing. The community itself is growing, and there are many people coming outside of Ottawa to shop, to access health care, to visit friends, to move into some of our community places. So it's getting very well known.
And so give me a sense, because I think some people think small-time hospital, small-town hospital, may not have everything that we need, but that is far from the truth.
It's pretty incredible what happens every day. We have our emergency department 24/7 in operation. We have 57 inpatient beds between acute care, rehab and palliative care, as well as obstetrics, and then 112 long-term care beds. There's a lot of people coming to our campus every day.
And so important. I think about the obstetrics part and the long-term care and everything in between.
Yes.
It really is serving every member of the community. We're going to talk and take a deeper dive into the obstetrics and to the long-term care in a little bit, which is really great with some of your colleagues. What are some of the challenges that you're facing in Almonte in particular in terms of healthcare?
I think we're very similar to many other hospitals across the province. We're challenged with funding and having enough resources to do the important work that we do every day. We don't want to scrimp on healthcare and be cheap about it, but we want to do it wisely and efficiently. And in a small hospital, we only have so much room. I feel like my favorite saying is it's like sucking water from a rock. We're very efficient, and you can't get more out of what we do already. So we try every day to do the best we can with the resources. And I would say staffing probably is our second challenge. It is a little harder to recruit in the small community. We have only so many full-time positions to go around. A lot of people that live in our community work in our community, and there's only so many jobs and so many demands to go around. The staff that we have are extremely dedicated. They are caring for their family or their neighbors or their friends or people they see at the grocery store every week, right? So it's very special what we do in there, but we're challenged with having enough resources from financial, but also from clinical.
There is a special, I'll call it a vibe in that hospital. I've been there, I've visited. There is this community feel to the Almonte General Hospital.
Every single person there takes ownership for what happens to anybody in our care. It could be the housekeeper, it could be somebody who works in the kitchen, it could be one of our clerks. If you see anybody in the hallway, you're greeted, there's eye contact. Do you need help? Can I do anything for you? And I think we go above and beyond because we're able to do that.
We talk challenges. What are some of the successes that you're so proud of in your role and with your team?
Well, I could go on for hours for sure, but I think, you know, we've come through the pandemic in a great place. We're recovering and continuing to provide that excellent care every day. It's hard to show up and give 110% every single day, but I do believe our staff do that. We have excellent patient satisfaction scores. We have very few bad things that happen in our hospital. The staff are always taking education, always trying to be better. And I'm very proud to say that I work there and I'm part of that team just because of that extra special attention and care we give to every single person that comes through the door.
Give me a sense, how many staff are we talking that is ensuring that the Almonte General Hospital gives the greatest care?
Yeah, in Almonte we have about 300 staff overall.
Oh, wow.
Between the long-term care home and the hospital and all of our support services, for sure.
And in your role, it like I think about, because I could never do what you do.
Yeah.
So I think about your role as 24/7. You always have the hospital on your mind. Is there, when you're, you know, maybe waking up on a cold February day thinking about going to work, is there something that sort of drives you? Is there a story? Is there a patient that you think, I'm getting up today because I know we can do this again?
Yeah, I think I have, I'm very lucky with the role that I have. So we're small enough that I could actually go and touch a patient if I wanted to.
Yeah.
And I do often go speak to patients or families in our care. I'm a member of the board of directors, so I sit at that table so I can influence at a higher level. I work on strategic planning, I work on policy, I work on professional practice for staff. And, you know, I think every single day there's something that says, that was fantastic and I need to come back tomorrow and do it again.
When I think about the hospital, and once again I've visited there, the phrase that comes to my mind is, you punch above your weight.
Yeah.
Is that how you feel about this organization?
Yes, we've been hearing from some focus groups that we're scrappy.
Oh, I love that.
And it's really stuck with me because we do the best we can with the resources and we go above and beyond every day with those same resources to make it better. We will do our absolute very best to make things happen for patients. Yesterday we had an elderly gentleman, he came in, his finger was crushed. He needed to have it removed, which is sad for him. But there happened to be plastic surgery in the building that day who waited after their operating room time to go and help him get better and recover and go home from Almonte instead of going somewhere else. Right? It was a fantastic story. So we will go above and beyond whenever we can to make things happen for our patients.
So care for the community in the community.
Absolutely, whenever possible. There are certainly things outside of our control that we can't do and we can't safely do. So for good reason, people end up coming to the city, but then we're ready for when they need to come back and recover and get stronger before they go home. We're ready for that.
And you were talking about talent recruitment. I'm thinking to myself, I'd love to move to Almonte and work, you know, if I had those healthcare skills. So if someone's listening and thinking right now that maybe they want to become part of the team, is there a place where you sort of have all those openings if they come up in your organization? Yeah,
there definitely are some openings for sure, more on a part-time basis, but we've just actually come out of the summer with a clinical extern program that's funded by the Ministry of Health. So students in physiotherapy or nursing can come and work for the summer and practice their skills. We had 40 between the two hospitals working this summer full-time, just gaining knowledge and practicing what they've learned in school. And now they're gone back. Many of them have said, I learned more in one day in the hospital than I did in my whole first year of school. Wow. And they're going to come back again and again until they're ready to graduate. That's been a huge talent pipeline for us. They're comfortable with us, they know how we operate, and they've been with us for 2 or 3 years during their schooling and practicing and getting better every year. And it's easier for them now to come to work for us when they graduate.
Sure. So smart to invite the young, enthusiastic people in for that kind of work.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
What would you say to someone that maybe has never visited the Almonte General Hospital?
I would say we're here if you need us. If you're going to have a baby, or if you're medically acute, or you need to come to the emergency department, we're here. We're ready for you. We'll do the best we can. If we can't do it all, we'll make sure you get the resources that you need. It's all about access to health care through our doors.
And the work obviously that you do every single day, as we talked about, from babies to seniors and everything in between, the need that's in the community and that growing need, what does that keep you up at night? Is that a worry for you, or do you feel like you're getting all the resources that you need?
It does keep me up at night a little bit. We have had in the far past some challenges with staffing our emergency department. We have had periods of time where we've not been able to keep the department open at the nighttime, for example, and that worries me. We've made huge strides in improving that in the last year. It's been excellent, but there's the occasional time I have 2 nurses on in the department at night. If one of them is ill or has an emergency, can't come to work, and I can't replace that one nurse, we can't safely care for people. So we have to divert people for, hopefully just 8 hours, and open up our doors the next morning. That would be the most thing that keeps me up at night. But our staff are very engaged. We have a task force meeting all the time. How can we be better every day? And we've made really great improvements in that.
Tell me about the team.
The team, is very diverse. We have all age groups. We have a nurse that's worked for 40 years. Wow. She started in the kitchen when she was just about 16, and she's worked her way through the organization and provides excellent care to the brand new nurse who just graduated, who's really uncertain, and all of the team members just embrace each other, and they support each other. We all have ups and downs in life, and when things are good, we're all there, and things are not good, the team is there. It's a very much a family run place. Yeah,
it's very special.
It is.
It's very special.
Yeah.
And when I think about all of the incredible monies that have been raised for the Almonte General Hospital, we're going to get a chance to chat about that a little bit later too. What would you say to donors that have really put their money and invested their money into the community that you give at the Almonte General Hospital?
We're so grateful for everything that comes through the doors for equipment, especially as a nurse, we can't do our jobs if we don't have the right equipment. We want to provide safe care. We want it to be at a great level, and in order to do that, we need donors to be able to support that. For things like beds and tubs, it's not very exciting, but those are crucial, right? If you have to lay in a bed for 5 days, you want it to be comfortable. You want it to go up and down. You want us to be able to assess you and document and do all the things we need to do. Hopefully you don't need us, but if you do, we're here, and we want to have the right tools for everybody.
That's the perfect way to end our chat. Thank you so much, Leanne, for everything you do at the Almonte General Hospital. Thank you so much. We're speaking, of course, all about the Almonte General Hospital today, and Fairview Manor, the foundation, of course, as well. Stay with us here on An Hour to Give.
This program is brought to you by Rogers Xfinity, connecting you to more of what you love. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Welcome to Community News and Events on Rogers TV, Channel 22. I'm Jillian Turman. Drinking and driving is a dangerous choice with serious consequences. Every year, countless lives are lost or changed forever due to impaired driving. If you plan to drink, always plan ahead. Designate a sober driver, call a taxi, or rideshare. Never let friends get behind the wheel if they've been drinking. Even small amounts of alcohol can impair judgment, slow reaction times, and reduce coordination. Staying sober behind the wheel keeps you, your passengers, and others on the road safe. Let's work together to prevent tragedies and make responsible choices. One moment of caution can save a life, maybe even your own. Drive sober, stay safe. To have your community news or events listed on our website, please go to rogerstv.com, click on events, and post your event. That's it.
You're watching an interesting local show on Rogers TV and you want to know more. That's when you head to rogerstv.com. Our website provides more information about our programs, our hosts, our schedule, and about how you too can get involved with Rogers TV. Visit us online at rogerstv.com.
For 25 years, you've been helping to make our roads safer by doing the right thing. You've been the designated driver, you've stayed over, called home, you've called a cab or a friend, and planned ahead. Let's keep doing the right thing. Support sober driving by getting yourself and your friends home safely.
Do the right thing.
Visit ArriveAlive.org to find out more. Arrive Alive. Drive sober.
Maybe you live in the beautiful community of Almonte, or maybe you just visit like I do. However you find your way to Almonte, you know that the Almonte General Hospital will be there if you need them. And the one and only Deneve Carrero will be there as well. Deneve, you've got a really important job. I'm so excited to chat with you. Tell us what you do at the hospital.
Yeah, for sure. So I am the interim manager for the obstetrics and the emergency departments.
Okay, fantastic. For all the men out there, tell us what obstetrics is, because every woman knows.
So essentially, the obstetrics department within the hospital will assist women and their families with the entire spectrum of childbirth. Yes. So from coming in for maybe assessments from their physician's office, or having inductions, things like that, through to labor, delivery, postpartum care, cesarean section care, and as well as afterwards, if their newborns need any follow-up, they would come back to us potentially. However, we do have a brand new Nest clinic that opened in the summer, which is really to take care of the newborn and the family postpartum.
I love the name of that program. That's amazing. I love that. And here's the deal. My daughter's 17 years old, but as I heard you speak, it brought me back 18 years ago to when I found out I was having my baby girl. I mean,
Absolutely.
I think those times in our lives, we really do look to experts, and obviously you've got the experts in Almonte.
Yeah, that's right. So, having a baby is one of the most impactful times in a family's life. And so we strive to give world-class care at the Almonte Hospital with the resources that we have. We have been so fortunate to benefit from the foundation to upgrade our equipment and to make sure that we are giving top-of-the-line care with top-of-the-line equipment. And so I feel really confident in saying to families in the community that coming to Almonte is an excellent choice if you're choosing to have your baby. It's really allowed us to service families within our community and not have to necessarily have them go out to farther distances to have their babies.
So how many little bambinos are born in beautiful Almonte?
So last year we had 378 babies.
Wow.
And this year we are on track to do a little more than that. Our community is definitely growing, and the word is getting out that we have an excellent program. So we are definitely seeing an increase in our numbers.
Wow, that's exciting. And when I think about all of the care, and I love that you sort of took us from the minute you find out right through to that post-care. And I think what surprised me most as a new mom, I'm going back in time, but how much I needed care after I had that baby. I thought it was all before, and I get this little baby home, and it can be very overwhelming.
It absolutely can be. And I think one of the benefits of the Almonte Hospital is because we're such a small center, we really do have the ability to give really specialized one-on-one care to our families, during labor as well as postpartum. We can spend that extra time with them, really make sure they're comfortable before they go home. And then we do have the follow-up clinic with Nest available to them for any medical follow-ups that they require with their physicians.
What would you say to a mom that's thinking, or a mom-to-be that's thinking, I think I want to have my baby in Almonte?
I would say come on over.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
We have a fabulous team overall. From our physician team, we have family medicine obstetrical providers, as well as the OBGYNs. And then our nursing team is second to none. I have worked in other centers, and I've got to say, everywhere has great nurses, but I'm really, really fond of the nurses in Almonte. They are like a little family, and they really do care for their patients like they are family members.
And, I think about all all of the questions that we have as new moms, leading up to labor and delivery. I had 101 questions, but I had 1,000 after she was born.
Yeah.
Walk me through kind of the idea, if somebody is wanting to have a baby in Almonte, how do they even do that?
So you would have a referral to one of the obstetrical providers that does deliveries in Almonte. We also have a fabulous midwifery group that delivers in Almonte. So either one of those 3 avenues, either midwifery, family medicine, obstetrical program, or OBGYN. And you could ask your primary care provider to give you a referral to one of the physicians that does deliver in Almonte. And then we would follow you through the program there.
And you have other roles at the hospital. Tell us what else you do.
Yeah, so I'm also the intern manager for the emergency department, and my background is obstetrics, so emergency is definitely a new avenue for me, and I'm learning a lot, and I've discovered what a fantastic emergency department we really do have. We have, really advanced medical care available. We have a CT scanner, X-ray, ultrasound department, and a fabulous group of physicians and a fabulous group of nurses that work there, and they all work so well together, and they really do provide extremely great care.
And what do you think is different from an emergency room in a small community like that compared to maybe a big emergency room somewhere else?
For sure. I think a lot of it comes down to, resources, whether that be human resources or other more advanced testing other than, CT, which we do have. So we do have the ability to care for most things in Almonte, but there are certain things where we do have to send people out. Our team is really fabulous, and we work really well together. And I really think, like Leanne spoke to, we're really community centered. So the people who are working there are caring for people from their own community, people that they may know. And I think they really do go above and beyond to provide that extra special care because of that. They do know their community, their community well.
And would you, for instance, if there was a car accident, is that coming into Almonte?
It really would depend on the situation and depending on the extent of the injuries. Oftentimes, yes, we will get certain aspects of that. If it was a true trauma, it would get transferred into the city.
Right. So, I think it's important for everyone to have partners, right? So
Absolutely.
I sort of see that as a partnership.
Absolutely.
That you're providing some care in the community for the community.
Yeah, and our hospital does have very close relationships with the city hospitals because we are constantly in communication and partnership with them. Should we have extra high risk or acute patients that need to be seen by specialists in the city.
And what would you say to somebody that, and I asked this question of Leanne as well, that maybe knows nothing about the Almonte General Hospital? What would you want them to know from your perspective?
I think it really goes back to the fact that we are a small community hospital, and we will do everything we can to take the best care of you. Our town is growing, and so and our catchment region is growing. So we are seeing a definite increase in the foot traffic through the hospital and things like that. But really, I would say have faith in your local community hospital. We are an excellent center, and we'll provide you the best care.
Well, and I think, and we talked about this earlier, but just the fact that it's from babies to seniors and everyone in between, you must see sort of babies that are born there maybe come back years later for other
for sure.
obviously emergency care and that kind of thing. Is that always kind of an interesting moment?
Yeah, for sure. Families who live in the community, they use our resources, and so those resources do span from birth to senior living and everything in between. So we do see people come back time and time again to get care with our community because they trust us, and we do provide excellent care.
Is there a mom that you think about when you think about the work that's being done in the obstetrics department that maybe stands out for you, that you knew that she was in the right place?
Yeah, I think there's so many. I've been doing obstetrical care for so long, but yeah, I think that really for women to have the choice to stay in their community and not have to travel to have their baby, they can have their family around them, they can have their resources close by. I think that's really the the message that we want to send home, is that we do provide that care and they can have their community around them. I don't know if I can think of one specific person specifically, but yeah, we've had positive impacts on so many families in our community.
And you must get to see Grandma and Grandpa coming in
Absolutely.
and seeing that baby for the first time.
Yeah.
And all those special moments.
Absolutely, yeah. And you know, the thing is, Grandma and Grandpa also know some of the nurses because they grew up in the same community. They were, you know, their parents' friends, their grandparents' friends. They, you know, everyone seems very well connected in our community, and it's a really nice little family.
It is. Honestly, I love the town of Almonte. And I think what sets you apart really is the fact that you, and we used this term earlier, you punch above your weight in terms of the healthcare piece, but people can live and get care in the community that they're in. That's an important piece.
Absolutely.
For anybody that's attracting a talent, like I think about, you must obviously have to work with Leanne and hire lots of great talent as well. So it's an important piece.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any word about you know, looking for people to work in the obstetrics department or the emergency department as well?
For sure. We don't have any full-time positions currently available, but we are always looking for extra staff to work as casual, to help pick up, help prevent those closures that Leanne was talking about. You know, obstetrics and emergency departments are particularly at risk for closures should we have any staffing shortages. And because we're a small community and a small hospital, we do have staffing limitations. And so if we can increase our casual work pool, we can definitely help prevent some of our closures. And that's something we're actively working towards.
You were mentioning all the pieces of equipment, and all I saw visually, 'cause I'm a very visual person, is all the people behind that equipment.
Yeah.
So all of the donors, all of the businesses, everyone that raised the money, because I think a lot of people are very surprised in terms of the Ontario health system that they'll provide you with the hospital, but all those important pieces that go in
For sure.
come from the community. What would you say to people that have stepped up to ensure that those vital pieces of equipment are there for this great team?
I would just say thank you very, very much. You know, we do several fundraisers throughout the year. The biggest one for our maternal newborn program is our run that we have every year. And we raise money. Last year we raised an incredible amount of money, and all of that money goes directly back into our programs to help you know, fund the purchase of really important necessary equipment. We just purchased a brand new resuscitation unit for our maternity unit, and that will help us to provide, you know, excellent care to newborns that may need a little extra help to breathe and to do the things they're supposed to do when they're born. So we now have an extra set of equipment so we can provide even further care.
Wow.
So we're so grateful to the community and to all the donations, and our community is so generous. We're very grateful.
And to have those pieces right available.
Absolutely.
And the fact that the community all participates. And I love an event like that because it really is everybody can get involved, whether you had a baby a year ago or 10 years ago, or your grandma and grandpa, you can get involved in that. So that's wonderful. Yeah, it's a wonderful organization. Of course, the Almonte General Hospital. What would you say to your team today? Give them a shout out.
Oh, I would say thank you very much to both my emergency and my obstetrics team for welcoming me. I'm fairly new to the organization, and they've welcomed me with open arms, and they've really mentored me to really learn what it's like to work at a level 1 center and all the niche things that go along with that. So I am very grateful to be in the position that I'm in now and to the team that I work with.
Oh, Denise, thank you so much. I appreciate you joining us
and
sharing all about those babies. Thinking about all those babies, 378. 300. So that's more than one a day.
Yes.
Yes, that's impressive. That's impressive. Thank you so much. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
We're learning all, of course, today about the Almonte General Hospital, and we're going to learn about the Fairview Manor as well, and of course about the wonderful foundation that raises all of this great funding to ensure that this community has what they need. I'm Sam Laprade. Stay with us on An Hour to Give.
Welcome to Community News and Events on Rogers TV Channel 22. I'm Jillian Turman. Swimming in the Ottawa River can be risky, especially outside designated areas. Strong currents, sudden drop-offs, and hidden debris make some parts of the river unsafe, even for experienced swimmers. In Ottawa, it's safest to swim only at official city beaches like Mooney's Bay, Britannia, and Petrie Island, where lifeguards are on duty during the summer months. These supervised areas are regularly tested for water quality and have safety measures in place. Avoid unsupervised spots along the river where help may not be available in an emergency. To stay safe, always follow posted signs, swim with a buddy, and stick to lifeguard patrolled beaches. To have your community news or events listed on our website, please go to rogerstv.com, click on events, and post your event. That's it.
After a night out with your friends, not having a plan for a safe ride home can leave you in a bad spot. You could end up riding in a police car, an ambulance, or a hearse. These unplanned modes of transportation can be a costly choice and do not take you home. Your plan could include a designated driver, a taxi, or public transit. Drink responsibly, choose your ride, and have a plan for a safe ride home.
Visit arrivealive.org to find out more.
Hello, I'm Liz Dowdswell, Lieutenant Governor of Ontario. In 2008, carbon monoxide, a deadly invisible gas, killed an entire family in our province. That tragedy led to a new law requiring homes with potential CO sources to have alarms. John Gignac's family members passed away that day, and he shares his story to save others.
Please make sure you have working CO alarms in your home. Protect your family today.
Did you know that the Almonte General Hospital and the Fairview Manor are connected? And we're going to learn all about those connections today. Christian Carretero is joining us. Hello, Christian. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
You have a really important job.
Of course.
Yes. We've heard from a lot of your colleagues today, but I really love the work that you're doing at the Fairview Manor. What's your role there?
So I'm Christian. So my role currently right now is the Assistant Director of Care at Fairview Manor. Yeah. And a lot of that responsibility comes with helping the Director of Care in maintaining compliance and quality care practices within our environment that we're working at.
So how many people are living at Fairview Manor?
We currently have 112 beds that we're serving.
Wow.
Yes, and one bed that's dedicated for respite care.
Oh, that's so smart. Yeah. The community needs that respite care.
I totally agree with you.
Yeah. So tell me about Fairview Manor.
Sure. So again, Fairview Manor is connected to the Almonte General Hospital, so we are a licensed 112 bed. It is a beautiful modern home. If anybody has a chance to look at it, it's an absolutely amazing. So obviously we are a long-term care home, so therefore we do cater complex care needs that are currently almost the same as other long-term care homes in our areas.
It's amazing. Yeah. And how many staff are working there? Oh,
I would say approximately at least 300 to 400 staff that is currently working at the Fairview Manor, I would say.
It's a busy team.
It sure is.
And why is it so important for people that probably live their whole lives in Almonte to be able to spend time at the Fairview Manor?
I really do feel that sense of community. I think that's really important. I think having locals being able to have the opportunities to work in our community, I think that's a crucial thing, because then, we do have quite the culture at Fairview where, we do pride on our own practices. Like, I do feel that, genuinely, our staff are very respectful. The fact that we do live in a small town, so that we do have those close-knit relationships that we have. Also, in terms of knowing who's working with others that are actually familiar to you, I think that's a huge benefit. And also just being able to know the history of Almonte as well, that goes a long way, so that way we can effectively individualize the care approaches that we provide to the residents, because a lot of times our staff do know those residents that are moving to our areas, so especially to our practice settings.
Mm-hmm. So tell me about a day in the life of a resident at Fairview Manor. How do they spend their day? They get up on a beautiful day. What's their day look like?
The day looks like it's definitely a beautiful thing. Obviously, we have our staff. Our staffing ratios right now is one of the best I've ever seen. I think having that relationship with the fact that we are owned and operated by Almonte General Hospital is a huge, tremendous advantage for us at Fairview, because we do feel those shared resources and also the collaboration, and also having access to effective care really does help improve residents' quality of life. So day to day, what does that look like? You know, the residents, when they do wake up, there's someone there taking care of them. You know, unhurriedly, I think that's a big thing. I think our ratio right now is 1 in 6. I think 1 in 7. I think other homes around Ontario, I think, is still at 1 in 10 and 1 in 13. The fact that we are committed to ensuring that we provide exceptional care to the residents. And in regards to the help that they need, so, you know, they do get cared for, but we also promote independence as well. Like, we want to make sure that if they don't use it, they tend to lose it. So the big thing is creating programs that is individualized to their needs. So working closely with the family and with the resident to ensure that their needs are actually being met based on their specific needs. So if, for instance, during their care, you know, if they wanted certain things, like if they want to wake up at 10 in the morning, like, you know, we don't need to rush those things. We have to make sure that we respect those wishes and considerations that with our care planning for them.
Can you get me up at 10 o'clock in the morning? That would be fantastic.
Oh, sure, of course. I think there's definitely a room for that, and especially like at the Manor right now, we are looking at, you know, individualized needs of the residents. So we're looking at potentially maybe it's time for us to have a second dining room times and things like that. But again, those are open for conversations.
Yeah. And in terms of recreation and those opportunities to connect, you mentioned the word community earlier. Talk to me about those opportunities.
Yeah, so our Fairview Manor recreation program is exceptionally important to the betterment of the residents' quality of life at the home. With the recreation, we do have a small group. However, they might be small, but they are absolutely committed to delivering improvements to their quality of life. I think a sense of joy and the sense of pride, and ensuring to see that with the residents and giving them that, you know, there's a reason why we're still living, you know, like the fact that the recreation, you know, they tailor individualized needs based on what they really want, working with the family. So actually sometimes it's better to have families involved, because I think transparency goes a long ways with our 100%. Care. And I think having that relationship with the family and they get to see it, they're all part of our success as well. And, you know, we are seeing it, our residents, our satisfaction survey speaks high volume in terms of you know, in terms of their what do you call that? It's in terms of what they experience. Like, you know, it's really important for that.
For sure. And that gives you pride in your work,
yes,
right?
Of course.
Yeah. And are you doing outings in the community?
Of course. Like, so we did have, like, we have our great organizations that was able to help us with that, and also donors that were able to provide us some funds to help purchase, like, our own actual bus that we use often in terms of taking the residents out to community events, or even just for strolls. I think that's a huge benefit, and I think other homes don't even have those, but we do at Fairview.
What would you want someone to know if they're a family member about the Fairview Manor?
I honestly would be able to tell them that, you know, at Fairview we got nothing to hide. You know, we are absolutely committed to exceptional care services. You know, we are very well versed in regards to staying current with our practices, so we are aware what the challenges are, and I think having a great support with our organization in terms of because, again, you know, everything is so individualized. You know, the priorities might change based on the needs of the residents, but I'm so glad to have that support within our organization to be able to do whatever it takes to ensure that the residents gets all their needs are being met.
Beautifully said. Okay. So you and I have a friend in common.
Sure.
That's the one and only Chris Neal.
Oh, yes.
And
a huge fan.
I'm a huge fan too, of course, former Ottawa Senators, but he's always in my heart. I always, like, when I think about the Senators, I think Chris Neal.
Yes.
But he's a real community guy.
Yes, he is. Like, you know, we were so fortunate to have him at our home. I would say not too long ago, where he was able to help us with our social gatherings. So he called bingo for the residents.
Oh, that's
awesome. Absolutely, everyone was so starstruck by it. But the fact is that, you know, the residents were so happy. You should see their smiles. Like, for most of those residents, that is one of the highlights of their life, to actually meet someone like a Chris Neal caliber. Like, he's exceptional, great hockey player, and I'm a huge Sens fan. So
yeah. It's funny. I interviewed Chris once, and I asked him, when he was in a fight, he would kind of, make a big deal of it. He goes, I had to tell my mom I was okay. So that's a good guy. Yeah, he's a great guy. And those kind of community moments, I mean, we're just speaking about Chris, but there's many members of the community that come in and help out.
Yes, absolutely. And that's the other thing too, like the fact that we have a great sense of community. We do have a great community support. Our volunteers, we won't be able to run half of our programs without them. The volunteers plays a huge role in keeping us at bay, because we do have like 80 plus programs that we're running on a monthly basis. And the goal for us is to continue individualizing the type of programs that we're running, because we really want to make sure that it is tailored to their needs. Lately, what we've been seeing in terms of new admissions in long-term care, we're seeing very complex health challenges, lots of comorbidities. Some residents, unfortunately, that are coming through are really sick, and so then therefore it's quite the challenge, and we need to deal with it head on. So we need to make sure we have more one-on-one availability in terms of providing that monitoring support that they need, or even just to sit with them. Those are crucial in terms of our success. So without our volunteers, we won't be able to run a majority of our programs.
No, it's so important.
Yeah. And also to point out too, our organization also recently had approved for creation of more positions. So right now we just recently added an extra part-time, and the goal is for us to continue making it better. And I'm just so glad to have the support that I have with our senior leaders at MRHA.
For sure. And can we just talk for a minute about how healthcare has changed for seniors, and how important it is when people do have that opportunity to spend time at Fairview, that really be an experience that is good for the whole family?
Yes, I absolutely feel that there's always room for people to live at Fairview, although a lot of times a lot of our clients tend to like to live at home as long as they could, but rest assured to you that if they do decide to come to Fairview, it is absolutely exceptional. The goal for us to continue delivering on being known as one of the best homes in Ontario. I think that speaks volumes in terms of our accreditation, in terms of even the inspection reports that we get from the ministry. They do comment and recognize us for the exceptional care that we deliver, and also how amazing our home looks like. It's always nice and clean. And also one of the biggest assets that we have at Fairview is actually our people. Actually, the people that we have, the staff that we have that works at Fairview, they go above and beyond. There's no day that, if you ever ask for something from the residents, guess what? They go and do everything they could for those residents. But I do always emphasize to them, whatever they do, they need to make sure that it's always realistic, and that that way all the staff can also do those same things. So just working together and collaborate, so that way the residents' needs are always being met.
Every single one of you that have joined me today, the passion comes through. I can tell you love your work. Yes. I can tell that you think about the residents of Fairview, even when you're not working, that you're wanting to provide that amazing care to all of the residents. So that's wonderful to be able to do that for a living. Would you agree?
I totally agree. This is the career that I chose in my life. I've been doing this for over 20 years. And the fact that I've been working at Fairview for 2 years, there's so much for us to get better at, and I'm so glad to be part of this transition, and I'm looking forward to see what Fairview looks like in the future.
Oh, I love that so much. So Fairview, you've got over 100 beds, you've got incredible staff, you've got this opportunity. We're going to speak a little bit about the fundraising side of it. Sure. What would you say to everybody that gives back to Fairview?
It's a very touchy topic, just because without those donors that are able to that helps us, that's a crucial aspect of being able to continue delivering what we do. We do get funding from the ministry, but sometimes with those limited resources, because sometimes with caring for the residents, they have really specific care needs, and that requires resources. So we're just very fortunate that our community does recognize those challenges, and they're willing to give their helping hands, whether that's monetary or even just a helping hand to help us at Fairview. Like that's also, yes, that's absolutely
beautifully said. Christian, thank you so much.
problem.
Thank you so much. You can see the passion about Fairview Manor from our guest Christian today. When we come back, we're going to chat with one of my friends. Come on back on An Hour to Give.
My name is Cara, and I'm here with my friends Shane and Monique, and we're getting ready for season 2 of the Fitness Passion on Rogers TV. Join us right here.
Relive the magic of Music and Beyond, where classical music meets art, culture, and unforgettable live performances. Only on Rogers TV. Don't miss a note.
Welcome to Community News and Events on Rogers TV Channel 22. I'm Dave Hilson. Food Bank is one of the most effective ways to help fight food insecurity in our community. Donations of nutritious, non-perishable items like canned meats, whole grain cereal, rice, peanut butter, and canned vegetables can be dropped off at grocery store red bins or directly at the warehouse. Even better, cash donations allow the food bank to buy fresh produce, dairy, and meat at wholesale prices, stretching every dollar up to 5 times more than a grocery store purchase. Volunteers are needed too. Sorting, packing, and distributing food keeps operations running smoothly. Your support makes a real difference for families across Ottawa. To have your community news or event listed on our website, please go to rogerstv.com, click on events, and post your event. That's it.
Well, I promised you a friend of mine, and I have delivered. Vi Demas joining us today. She is the Executive Director of the Almonte General Hospital and Fairview Manor Foundation. And there is no one that is rocking their new job better than Vi. You are doing such a great job.
Thank you.
And you've been in philanthropy for a long time.
I have.
And this feels different to me. Is it different?
It is different.
Yes.
It's the next step. Yeah, I've been in philanthropy well over 20 years. Yeah. And this was just the next step in my career, but it's so far been one of my absolute favorites.
Yeah.
I mean, no surprise based on the people you've spoken to here before. Almonte itself is so special. Yeah. The hospital itself is so special. Yeah. And all of that, I think, has collided really seamlessly with my own personality and my own just want to help them. And so, yeah, it's been a great fit.
I always think, because many people that listen and watch this show a lot know that I'm also a fundraiser as well as the host and creator of An Hour to Give. And I think as fundraisers, I've always looked at it this way. I will never be a doctor, I will never be a nurse, I will never be able to do the work of Christian or any of those teams. But boy, I can connect people in the community to give those professionals the tools.
Yeah.
Is that how you see it?
That's exactly how I see it. Yeah. It's a calling. I used to say that I get to thank people for a living. It was a job that I never knew existed, but I knew that I could do. Yeah. And that's essentially what I get to do, and now just at a higher level for a really wonderful place. And but I love the calling of
fundraisers, yes, but how do I match donors with their cause and what's important to them? And in a community like Almonte, the hospital is such a hub and a mainstay.
Absolutely.
Whether you used it or you haven't, you know of a loved one or a neighbor who has. And so really, how do we help bring them in to continue to support that place to make it the very best that it could be?
100%. Now, I know it feels like just yesterday, and I know it's longer than that, that you announced you were going to the Almonte General Hospital. And I saw your post on LinkedIn, and you were so excited, and I know that excitement hasn't waned. But going into an organization, and you're new there, you probably got to see things in a way that maybe people that have worked there for 10, 20 years don't realize maybe how special this organization is.
Right. I've learned more about healthcare, and I've worked in healthcare almost all my life, and healthcare philanthropy, but I haven't learned more than this last about 2 years' time. And what makes this place continuing to be so special and excited for me is you've hit it even with the guests. I lovingly say we help everybody from babies to bubbies,
I
right?
love that.
And everything in between. And that every day brings something new, right? There's the obstetrics department, the Fairview Manor to worry about, but then also everything in between. So every day there really is someone new I talk to in the hallways, or that comes and shares a story with me, or I observe my own story, or live my own story there. And so that's why I continue to be so excited every day. And I don't see that waning. Is when you spoke with Christian and Deneve and Leanne, like even they have continued care and love for this place because it's the same for them too.
You can tell. And in terms of, and I talked about, punching above your weight in terms of the healthcare side. Can we just talk about how you punch above your weight in terms of a foundation? I mean, this community is dedicated to their hospital.
They are.
Everybody, I feels, because I've got friends out there. It feels like everybody's on the board. It feels like everyone's participating in the events. It feels like everyone kind of comes to the table, and sometimes we kind of try and find people, but it feels like you're a magnet for this.
Thank you. I feel I'm also going to credit everyone who's ever come before me, and I get to build on the incredible work that they've also done. And we just take it to the next level, and that's what happens. People after me will do the exact same, right? They're just going to build and, kind of what the times is calling for, what newness is calling for. I think I came into Almonte as a community at a really interesting time. It's growing, right? It really is, and its surrounding area. With that comes, then that means the hospital is going to just be used more. So then how do we make sure, even if you've never had to use it, that we don't take it for granted? We know that it's there, but if we ever do have to use it, it's there for us with the very best tools in place of the medical teams. We touched upon how government in Ontario, like the healthcare, isn't 100% equipment provided by them. The operations is, so the physical structure is. And so we work really hard to actually continue to educate people on that. There's so many who don't realize it because, again, if you haven't had to use it, your mind's not really there. And so that's a big part of what we do is really continuing education on, when you bring something big here, when we ask you to give to an event or as a donor or a corporation, this is the change you're going to make for the teams and the patients in the walls.
And you can see it firsthand, which I love.
Exactly.
So, we think about fundraising. There's only so many revenue streams. So we've got events, obviously. That's a huge driver, especially all the events you're doing. I think I chatted with you on your golf tournament day, which was great. So you've got events, you've got those annual gifts, families saying, you know what, this year I'm going to make this contribution to this organization. We've got those wonderful monthly donors that, month after month, they just are committed, they're there, the sustainability is there. We've got people that provide maybe a larger gift. And then we have planned giving, right? So we've got and we've got capital campaigns in there, all sorts of different ways of giving. What I love is that you're open to all of it.
Yes.
So talk to me a little bit about that.
Absolutely. Sometimes I hate using the word diversification, but that's essentially what it is, right? And you never really want to place everything, all your balls in one bucket, because if that bucket happens to spill over, then you could be stuck
with the pandemic.
Well, and even the most recent example I could give is the postal strike last winter or last seasonal, and of course for any pretty much most charities the last few months of the calendar year. That's really when most people think about their giving. So all of a sudden we had to figure out, how do we pivot, because we can't give that up, but let's make some changes and figure out how to make this work. And so figuring out how to balance all that is always a lot of fun, but they all cross over each other so much, right? Someone who is leaving a legacy gift was maybe already a monthly donor. Someone who's attending an event all of a sudden wants to become donate something more. And so we continue to steward and welcome everyone in all of those capacities, to never leave anyone out, and to show them that you don't have to be able to, you don't have to organize your own event. We already have it, but maybe there's another way that is more meaningful for you to give, and we can work together to make that happen.
And I think the monthly giving is so, I love monthly giving because I can budget for it. Yes. I know when it's coming out. I know that I can make an impact all year long. And I know a number of people during the pandemic were so grateful that they had really loyal monthly donors, because the events went by the, by the side and all of those things. Right. Can we talk a little bit about planned giving? Because I think, or legacy giving, a lot of terms used interchangeably, I think in a community like Almonte, where somebody probably has been to that hospital, maybe born at that hospital, lives their entire life, and then they're thinking about what legacy they want to leave. And they think to themselves, this hospital has meant a lot to me and my family. Maybe my grandchildren were born there. Right. Are you seeing people make that commitment?
Absolutely. And it's growing as we have further conversations for people to understand exactly what that means. Often you think, well, one, it's hard for people to talk about, first of all, but approaching it with what's important to you, really what draws you to want to give here, and then how can we make that happen for you? So actually this past week I had a wonderful conversation with two sisters whose parents were had care at our hospital and have since passed, and they want to continue the legacy that their parents had started because their parents loved that hospital. And so we had this beautiful conversation about, well, what was meaningful to them? Were they in a specific department that treated them really well? Did they see something that they really loved within the hallway? Was, the kitchen staff always served their favorite breakfast? What does that actually look like? And so wonderful conversation that they get to say, this is how we want to remember our parents. And people often still think that you have to choose family or a charity when you can actually do both.
You can.
Absolutely. And it's so easy to do. Just, call and have a conversation, and let's figure out what that could look like.
How are people, if you've inspired, I know you have, if you've inspired someone today, how are they reaching out to you?
Oh, absolutely. Calling the hospital itself, I know we have the website on the banner, so almontehospitalfoundation.com. My email, vadimas@mrha.ca. But even just calling the hospital, going through to the foundation, you'll catch me or one of my colleagues who are absolutely willing to speak to everybody. And we do. One of the other best parts about this job, you can tell, there's many. Every day, my office is right beside the main doors. Every day I have someone come in to say hi or pop off from the street to just even to share a story. It's absolutely, I think, one of the best parts of the job, because we get to be there for you to share whatever you want to share. And my door is almost always open.
Do you feel like you're home?
I am. I'm not an Almontonian truly, but that community, I mean, you've been there many times too. It draws you in. And the thing is, it's like less than 30 minutes from West Ottawa. It's not this, you're going to a different country, right? It's, for me, I'm still commuting from the city, but it's, less than half an hour to get there every day. I enjoy going into the office every day because I really do think, yes, it's Almonte, there's a special vibe to it, but it's still a part of greater Ottawa in some sense.
Yeah. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, keep up the great work. And I hope we've inspired you today. We're chatting with my friend today. We're chatting with lots of different people today about the Almonte General Hospital and, of course, the Fairview Manor. If you've been inspired, reach out to the foundation and maybe make a gift, maybe a monthly gift. Maybe chat about legacy giving. You just never know. I'm Sam Laprade, and thank you so much for joining us, where we speak about community, of course, philanthropy, and, of course, volunteerism here on An Hour to Give.
Connect with us by visiting our website or email us at comments@rogerstv.com. Are you a content creator looking to expand your audience and make your voice heard in your community? Rogers TV wants to provide you with a platform to share your hobbies, interests, and stories for free. Visit us to find out more.
It's closing time, and you stayed out longer than you planned. So now you can't drive, and the buses have stopped running. You could always call your girlfriend. Or maybe your roommate? What about your best friend? You could just dial 1-888-TAXI-GUY or use the Taxi Guy app. The call and the app are free, and they both connect you to